This video was brought to you by the lovely members of my Patreon.
You know, one of the arguments that I have had in some of my videos is some people believe that I'm polyamorous, not out of, you know, that just being who I am. They think that I have like preemptively chosen polyamory because, oh, of course, you know, because I'm a black trans woman who isn't thin, who the f would want me anyway? So, you know, that's why I'm really poly. I've just sort of like cut through it and, you know, decided before I was rejected that I didn't want an exclusive partner. Hey guys, it's Kat and it's time for another episode of True Tea. Thank you so much for joining me here for yet another episode of True Tea. I really appreciate those of you guys who have come back every single week to watch these videos on this channel. At the time of me filming this video, we are almost at 200,000 subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, I would greatly appreciate it if you would. Some of you guys come back every single week and somehow don't decide to subscribe. I personally don't get that, but if you guys like these videos, please join us in this community. We like to have really thoughtful conversations about just whatever the hell comes up on my particular mind. So yeah, if you're interested in joining us here, please subscribe so you can contribute and you'll see every single time we upload videos on this channel. So yeah, anyway, how have you guys been? What have you guys been up to? I've personally been feeling pretty good. I have not been getting nearly as many sewing projects done as I would like, but I have like this box full of like fabric that I've taken from the 4 places that I've lived since moving out of my parents. And I've determined to go through all of those things by the end of this quarantine. So hopefully it doesn't last that much longer. Hopefully you guys are holding up well. Remember, we will survive this. I want to give a big thank you to all of the essential workers right now, everyone who's out there putting their life on the line. Thank you so very much for that. And yeah, anyway, let's get into this video. We're going to be having a conversation again about polyamory. I know we talk about it a lot on here, but you know, it is part of my life, so yeah. Anyway, let me take a sip of this water and then let's get into this video. I know water, it's weird for me to be so healthy and so free-ish. So a couple of weeks ago, I uploaded this video about what I learned about interracial relationships while in a quarantine. And I think that video brought up a lot of questions for you guys because you guys were not really particularly sure about what I wanted. In that video, I talk about how my ex got engaged, and I wish that I made it clearer that I wanted him to be able to find the relationship that he's in now. I wanted him to be able to find the person who could be monogamous with him, who can give him that kind of thing. It became clear to me that if I were to pursue polyamory, if I were to be myself more honestly, it would hurt him. He wouldn't be happy. So it was healthy for both of us for us to end the relationship. Even though it was really, really hard, even though it was really, really rough, I felt like it was the best idea. And while there are all these other things that I could say about him, I am genuinely really proud that he found somebody, and I'm just, honestly, I can't be more happy that he managed to find a new relationship. I think he's a great guy. He has his flaws, as do I, but I think at his core, he's a good person, so I'm glad that he found somebody to make him happy. So that was something I wish I stressed a little bit more. And obviously, since I was talking about his marriage, or his, you know, proposal, I guess. I don't know how it happened. I wasn't there. A lot of people were asking me about how I felt about marriage and things. So I wanted to do a video about that to kind of go over some of my current thoughts, because I guess asking what I want is kind of a pertinent question. So let's get into it. So I feel like I go over this in almost every single video, but I am polyamorous and I have 5 current partners. I guess you can say for now, I am what you would call solo poly, which means that I don't have a primary relationship. A lot of people are exploring polyamory after already being in a relationship. A lot of those relationships started as monogamous, and you have a conversation and then you da-da-da-da-da-da. I am unique, I guess, in that I broke up with my ex because I knew that I was polyamorous and various other things. And I was able to sort of pursue these relationships independent of themselves. One of the things I talked about in the interracial dating video is my sort of weird, irrational desired to have a primary. And when I say that it's weird and irrational, I say that because I know I don't want it. Like intellectually, logically, I know I don't want a primary, especially a primary partner who I'm nesting with. Oh my gosh, if there was a man in my apartment right If there was a man in my apartment right now, I would go fucking insane. I really would. I love being able to have my own space, being able to do my own thing. One of the things that I'm recognizing in isolation is that I dated a lot. I dated a lot and I dated almost for no reason. And when I say that, I mean, I went on a lot of dates that went nowhere. And I still had fun. I still enjoyed it, but I don't know. There were so many times like right now, because we can't go out, I'm realizing just how many things I could have done if instead of going on the date, I stayed home. I stayed home and didn't do it. It's wild to think of the amount of things I could have done if I just decided to stay inside and sit with myself some more. I think I've had a bit of a problem doing that. I think I've had a bit of a problem sitting with myself and just sort of being with myself. And I think I've tried to fill that extra, dead air. I've tried to just kind of have as many people around as possible. But I don't really need to do that. I'm solo poly right now, but it's not like I don't imagine myself having a primary in the future. I've talked about this in passing, but my sort of long-term goal is to, eventually I'll get sick of living in Los Angeles. Then I will find some land somewhere and sort of live on this self-sustaining ranch type situation where I live with a bunch of other polyamorous people. I foster queer kids who are rejected because I got into so much shit because my family was not great when I was younger. And I wanted to be able to provide a space for these kids to come if they want to be able to be there, and they wanted to feel safe and they wanted to feel like they didn't have to hide who they were, I want to be able to have that kind of environment when I get older. And I think the person who I would want to be my primary would have to be somebody who shared that long-term goal. So I really envision myself with that kind of person. But I'm not really currently even in that sort of spot, I don't think that's a future for me that's gonna happen hopefully not even in the next 10 years. For me, that's something that's gonna happen way down the line. And maybe I'll meet that guy. Maybe I'm dating that guy right now. I don't know. I think something I don't really talk about a lot on here is that I'm very happy with my poly relationships. Though I guess I should also mention that I think some of my partners, Benjamin's married with kids, right? Benjamin is never gonna be my primary. That's just not in the cards, right? Victor lives in a completely other state. He's never going to be my primary. That's just not in the cards. Alexander, who I've just recently started to date, who knows after him? It's not impossible. Alexander is, out of all of my partners, probably the closest to the guy who would be able to do the whole living on a farm and surviving thing. But he lives with his partner who lives with her other partner. So it's, that's probably not going to happen. Nathan has been married twice and does not want that kind of relationship and is not going to get that from me anyway. And he's definitely one of these kind of guys. Victor is like this too, where he just knows that's not what he wants. It's not one of those, I'm going to find someone and it's going to change my mind. He knows. He's been there. He's done it. He knows it's not what he wants. And Salvatore, potentially, maybe. Salvatore and I have really, really good chemistry. And he's an animator and a storyboard artist, and I like him a lot. He's really, really cuddly. He's, of all my partners, the partner who I physically fit with probably the best. He's a bit of a dad bod kind of guy. He's taller than me. He's very cuddly. So I like. And, he's very much He's a good guy. He's a good guy. So it's not like he's not an impossibility, but I also know that he's similar to me and that he really enjoys his space, right? But all these relationships fulfill me in a different way. And I feel very, very happy for now. I think that sometimes when I talk about my poly stuff, some people think that like, I'm gonna meet a guy and everything's gonna change for me. Cause I think that's how a lot of people are when they date around and they meet a guy and then they have to cut everybody off. But that's not in the cards for me. That's not in the cards for me. I know that I'm polyamorous, very, very comfortable and happy being poly. And while marriage is something I am open to in the future, even before polyamory, it was never something I wanted to rush into. I would not want to be married to my ex right now. I wouldn't want to be married to anyone right now. I mean, it's funny because a lot of my female friends, they have kids, they are married, they've been doing that thing, and I think it really works for them. And I think that they're happy and I'm happy for them. But oh my gosh, I have friends who can't do anything because they have kids. Hell, Benjamin has an impossible time getting out because he has kids, you know? Like, it's definitely not, it's a lot. You know, one of the arguments that I have had in some of my videos is some people believe that I'm polyamorous not out of, you know, that just being who I am. They think that I have like preemptively chosen polyamory because, oh, of course, you know, because I'm a black trans woman who isn't thin. Who the fuck would want me anyway? So, you know, that's why I'm really poly. I've just sort of like cut through it and, you know, decided before I was rejected that I didn't want an exclusive partner. And that's such a weird sort of thing for me personally because I've been in that kind of relationship before. I mean, so much of my polyamory comes from being in that kind of relationship before and realizing it's not what I wanted. I mean, when I met my ex, all I wanted to do was be in a monogamous relationship with one person. That is all I wanted. That is all I wanted. That was my ideal. That is what I held up. And it took me years to recognize with time that that wasn't who I was. Him and I met in a time where we were both very insecure and we really wanted to be in relationships. You know, I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody because I have this internal little thing in my head that says, oh, well, you'll never be in like a primary relationship. I think sometimes it's really easy to get really wrapped up in this feeling that like, if you have relationships, you are worthy, you know? I don't want that to be the reason I get into a relationship. I want for me to be in a relationship because I meet a person, they enrich me, they make me feel great, I make them feel great, we complement each other, and we want to be each other a lot for that reason. I think that if that happens, it'll happen and it'll feel right, and you won't be intimidated by my partners, you know? There's occasionally times where I think, am I potentially missing out on certain relationships because I'm maintaining so many of them? Maybe, I don't know, maybe. I definitely have had men in the past say, if you weren't dating all these other people, you and I would be together. But I don't really think those are even relationships that I want, you know what I mean? Like, as of now, I'm pretty fucking copacetic. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys because I know that you guys have had some questions about that. I know that sometimes my polyamory videos, people don't really particularly care for them, but I wanted to talk about that with you guys because I think marriage looks very different for a lot of poly folk. I've talked about this in the past, but a lot of people I've known who identify as polyamorous don't end up that way. All of the partners that I currently have are very much polyamorous. I'm not worried about that with them at all. But there are people who, you know, they were poly for X amount of time and then they, you know, just changed. And after being in a very monogamous relationship, I know that's not who I am. I know that's not what I want. I know that I'm a polyamorous person. And I think for me in relationships, I've always wanted somebody who just fully accepts me, fully embraces me, doesn't require me to be smaller. And so, yeah, if I meet that guy, who knows? Anyway, That's all I have to say. If you made it through this entire video, please put this emoji in the comment box below. I would greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. And if you guys are not already subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. We are almost at 200,000 subscribers, and I would absolutely love it if you joined us here. Anyway, right now you are looking at 2 videos you can watch if you would like to continue to sip true tea right here on the channel. And in the corner, there are a couple of ways for you to send me a tip if that's something you care to do. You know, maybe you don't think I deserve a tip, but I would like one. That would be nice. And if you don't want to give me your tip, please give me your package at my P.O. box. I literally cannot make that joke. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.